America is known as being a melting pot of many different cultures with their own unique language, religion, art, and cuisine. Over time, Americans have had a heavy influence on the ways these cultures are perceived in America. Midtown Global Market in Minneapolis is dedicated to preserving the authenticity of these different cultures. This digital story shares the story of one Mexican-American woman and her experiences related to cuisine.
I'd say my family, my culture, my interests, my beliefs. For instance, when people say, I don't like Mexican food, and I ask them, like, why don't you? And they're like, because I went to Chipotle once and the rice was horrible. It's like, well, that's not Mexican food. And it kind of, in a way, frustrates me because I feel like they identify me as the Mexican girl who has really bad taste in rice, or, I mean, just things like that. I think it's important for people to see and differentiate the difference between like Americanized Mexican food versus actual Mexican food. If they went to like a real Mexican restaurant where they really ate that rice or they ate something else, I think they change their perspective. I know I've had people that have tried an actual authentic Mexican restaurant and we're like, oh, this is really good. It's nothing like Taco Bell or Chipotle or any of those other Americanized restaurants. So. I think a lot of the seasoning, it's just it's not authentic, I don't think. Especially, I know, for instance, I know my grandparents, when they come from Mexico and visit, they're like, oh, I hate Taco Bell because these chalupas or these like things that they sell there, it's just they don't really give us justice. They make things up and say it's Mexican so they can just sell it. So I don't. You walk in and I personally feel like I'm in Mexico. Like just the decorations or the energy, the music, it definitely makes you feel like you're in Mexico. Versus when you walk into Taco Bell, like there's just an Americanized like music going, or like there's no decorations. So like I think a lot of it also has to do with not just the food in restaurants, but also the thought they put into it when actually decorating that like that atmosphere. When I cook food and I take it to work and like heat it up, I'm like I'm self-conscious that people won't like the smell, but either way, like I think it's important for people to open up their ideas and stop being so closed-minded, because I think it's important. I think especially like in a world that we live in here or now, with so much diversity, even just in Minnesota there's so much diversity, and I think it's nice for people to open up their ideas and see the difference.
It is important for people to understand the difference between Americanized and authentic Mexican cuisine because it can give people a greater appreciation of Mexican culture. Not only is the cuisine a part of the cultural identity of Mexico, but also creating authentic environments in restaurants through decorating as well as the design of the space. If people start to increase their knowledge of other cultures, stereotypes will become less of an issue. With how much diversity the world today has, it is important to be able to identify the difference among cultures in order to understand the world's cultures more appropriately.